ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಂ ಸದಾಶಿವಸಮಾರಂಭಾಂ ಶಂಕರಾಚಾರ್ಯಮಧ್ಯಮಾಂ ಅಸ್ಮದಾಚಾರ್ಯಪರ್ಯಂತಾಂ ವಂದೇ ಗುರುಪರಂಪರಾಂ. ಶ್ರುತಿಸ್ಮೃತಿಪುರಾಣಾನಾಂ ಆಲಯಂ ಕರುಣಾಲಯಂ ನಮಾಮಿ ಭಗವತ್ಪಾದಶಂಕರಂ ಲೋಕಶಂಕರಂ. ಶಂಕರಂ ಶಂಕರಾಚಾರ್ಯಂ ಕೇಶವಂ ಬಾದರಾಯಣಂ. ಸೂತ್ರಭಾಷ್ಯಕೃತೌ ವಂದೇ ಭಗವಂತೌ ಪುನಃ ಪುನಃ. ಋಕಾರಸ್ತ್ವಂದಕಾರೋ ವೈ ಋಕಾರಸ್ತನ್ನಿವರ್ತಕಃ. ಅಂಧಕಾರನಿರೋಧಿತ್ವಾತ್ ಗುರುರಿತ್ಯಭಿಧೀಯತೆ. ಈಶ್ವರೋ ಗುರುರಾತ್ಮೇತಿ ಮೂರ್ತಿಭೇದವಿಭಾಗಿನೇ. ವ್ಯೋಮವದ್ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತದೇಹಾಯ ದಕ್ಷಿಣಾಮೂರ್ತಯೇ ನಮಃ. ಓಂ ಭದ್ರಂ ಕರ್ಣೇಭಿಃ ಶೃಣುಯಾಮ ದೇವಾಃ. ಭದ್ರಂ ಪಶ್ಯೇಮಾಕ್ಷಭಿರ್ಯಜತ್ರಾಃ. ಸ್ಥಿರೈರಂಗೈಸ್ತುಷ್ಟುವಾಹುಂಸಸ್ತನೂಭಿಃ. ವ್ಯಶೇಮ ದೇವಹಿತಂ ಯದಾಯುಃ. ಸ್ವಸ್ತಿ ನ ಇಂದ್ರೋ ವೃದ್ಧಶ್ರವಾಃ. ಸ್ವಸ್ತಿ ನಃ ಪೂಷಾ ವಿಶ್ವವೇದಾಃ. ಸ್ವಸ್ತಿ ನಸ್ತಾರ್ಕ್ಷ್ಯೋ ಅರಿಷ್ಟನೇಮಿಃ. ಸ್ವಸ್ತಿ ನೋ ಬೃಹಸ್ಪತಿರ್ದಧಾತು. ಓಂ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ. ಹರಿ ಓಂ ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ಹರಿ ಓಂ. எல்லாருக்கும் வருக. So today we will actually take up the study of Mundakopanishad in a very concised manner. Before going to the Upanishad, let's have a brief introduction. Let's understand what Upanishads play as a role in our life. Okay. So Vedas, how many are in number? 4. Actually, Veda is a single body of knowledge categorized into 4 for easy recitation and easy following in life. So that was done by Bhagavan Bhadarayana, Bhagavan Vedavyasa. Each Upanishad has an Upanishadic portion, which is the knowledge portion, which gives the ultimate knowledge of life. So why do we need the ultimate knowledge of life? Because all the human problems, all the human sufferings are basically connected not to anything that you don't have or anything that you need to do, but one basic fact of life which we don't know. This phenomenon of not knowing one's self is called ignorance or ajnanam in the Shastric language. This ignorance needs to be removed so that one knows his true self and is free of suffering. This is the real and the ultimate vision of Vedas. This is the purpose of Upanishads are all which are given. Upanishads hence take the character of not a body which asks you to do something or not to do something. Upanishad is not a body to tell you the do's and don'ts of life. Upanishad is a body of knowledge which tells you what you need to know about yourself, what you need to know about the person whom you worship as Ishvara, and also this world which is created by Ishvara. This is the knowledge that is contained in the Upanishad. Now, when we come to a systematic and traditional studies of the Upanishad, the Upanishads are many in number. Across the 4 Vedas, there are more than thousands of Upanishads that were actually being studied. Later, with the passage of time, we lost many of them, and today we have many Upanishads still there, but principally in the tradition we take up for studies 10 Upanishads. Why do we take these 10 Upanishads? Because elsewhere in the Upanishad itself, in the later Upanishad itself, there is a shloka which talks about the 10 principal Upanishad. And the shloka goes like this: Ishakena Kataprashna Munda Mandokya Titrihi Aitareyancha Chandokyam Brihadaranyakam Tata. So this shloka encapsulates the names of the 10 Upanishad which Lord Sri Rama is suggesting to Anjaneya to study. Okay, so these are the 10 principal Upanishad. Also very interestingly, Bhagavan Vedavyasa in his own work, which is the Nyaya Shastra work, which is Brahma Sutra, he has handled all the 10 Upanishads to give us the vision of the Shastras and also establish the knowledge of the Shastras. Given this, Adi Shankaracharya, who comes in this parampara, who is a traditional teacher of Vedanta as well, has done Bhashyam, his elaborations to each and every word of this 10 principal Upanishads. Hence then we have these 10 Upanishads being studied as a part of a curriculum or as a part of the tradition. This is, in short, is called Dashopanishad. This is called Dashopanishad. Okay. Of the Dashopanishad, as the shloka goes, one may be tempted to start with the study of Ishavasya Upanishad. But Ishavasya Upanishad, so even though it is a small Upanishad in its size, every other word of Ishavasya Upanishad will have to be dwelt upon to take a very, very different meaning than the normal meaning. In fact, Ishavasya Upanishad is considered in the tradition to be a difficult Upanishad which needs to be studied after studying few other Upanishads. Right. So then which is that Upanishad that is to be studied first? In that order, very recently in this parampara by Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati, who is my great Guru. Okay, who is my great Guru, has started the studies of Mundakopanishad being the first Upanishad. Okay, why Mundaka? Why not the other Upanishads to be studied first? Mundaka, by its very name, Mundaka has a lot of meanings, we will just take one meaning here. Mundaka, by its very meaning, means head, Munda. Munda means head in Sanskrit. Mundanu sonna Tamilliyum தலேன்னு தான் அர்த்தம், ஆனால் அதை வேறு எதுக்கு நம்ம பயன்படுத்துவோம். ஓகே, கம்மிங் பேக் டு இங்கிலீஷ். இப்போது ஸோ முண்டக்கா மீன்ஸ் ஹெட். ஒய் இட்ஸ் ஆல்சோ அ இண்டிகேட்டிவ் மீனிங் தட் ஆஃப் த உபனிஷத்ஸ் தி ஹெட் generally for a body the head comes first. Similarly, while studying Upanishads, Mundaka comes first, therefore the meaning Mundaka Upanishad. Okay, why it is so? Why it is taken in the tradition to be taken for as an initial part of the studies is because Mundakopanishad is not a very big Upanishad like Brihadaranyaka, or it is not a very, very small Upanishad like Mandukya. It is not too big, it is not too small. Also, Mundakopanishad is a very, very comprehensive Upanishad. It has adequate deliberations over the all very important topics in Vedanta, like Tatpada Vicharam, Tvampada Vicharam, Asipada Vicharam, Sadhanani, Phalam. And Sadhanani meaning Yogyata for the knowledge. And also the progression of the Upanishad, Mundakopanishad, is very, very systematic. So given all these criteria, Pujya Swami Ji identified this Upanishad as very, very appropriate for a person who is getting introduced to the Upanishadic study. Okay, given that, now let's look at the structure of the Mundakopanishad. Mundakopanishad consists of 3 chapters each of the 3 chapters containing 2 sections each of the 2 chapters. Therefore, how many sections are we planning to study? 3 into 2, 6. Approximately 65 mantras are there. Why approximately? One of the mantras in Upanishad in some versions is broken into 2 or is taken as a single mantra. Therefore, it should be either 64 or 65 mantras. Okay. Before getting into the Upanishads, before getting into the Upanishadic study, today we will take up the study of the Upanishad in a very concised manner. We will study the essence of the Mundakopanishad. Before the study of any Upanishad, a prayer is chanted before the Upanishad. Okay. What prayer to be chanted for what Upanishad is determined by in which Veda the Upanishad belongs to. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda are the 4 categorizations available in Veda, also commonly known as the 4 Vedas. Rig Veda has Aitareya Upanishad. Yajur Veda has 2 sections, Krishna Yajur and Shukla Yajur. Ishavasya and Brihadaranyaka belong to the Yajur Veda Upanishad. Sama Veda we have Kena Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad. Atharvana Veda we have Mundakopanishad and Mandukya Upanishad belonging to Atharvana Veda. Isha, Kena. Kathopanishad belongs to the Yajur Veda. Yeah. Prashnopanishad belongs to again Atharvana Veda. Yeah, I think I have covered all the 10. With that note, why did I categorize the Upanishads into by the Vedas is based on to which Veda an Upanishad belongs, that Upanishad will take a Shanti mantra as its prayer invocation. Atharvana Veda more rightly, more aptly has Bhadram Karnebi as a Shanti mantra, which we just chanted at the beginning of the session. Okay. In short, Bhadram Karnebi, why is there a requirement of a prayer? Because the prayer invokes the favor of the invisible. The invisible, favorable and unfavorable factors that accrue as we do karma in our life, fructify at later point of time in our life. Its fructification to be favorable for the study of Upanishad or for doing any action in your life, a prayer will invoke the invisible to fructify into a favorable situation for that particular action or intention to get fulfilled. Here, when we take up Mundakopanishad for our study, what is the favorable situation that we are looking for is, number 1, we should be alive and kicking to complete the entire Upanishadic study. So the first part of this prayer, one of the first things that we ask through this prayer is longevity of life. May I live long, 1, to complete the study, number 2, also to enjoy the fruits of the study. So longevity is one prayer. Veshema devahitam yadayuhu. Then prayer for health, Bhadram Karnebihi, Sarvam Bhadram Bhavati, Bhadram Dadatu. May you bestow Bhadram or Mangalam to all my senses, mind, body. In other words, emotional, physical, intellectual, all aspects of health to be very, very strong is the second part of the prayer. Third and most important part is Vigna Nivarti. Vigna means obstacle. So obstacle can come from others who live along with us, Obstacles can come from natural factors. Obstacles can be self-generated. So, Adi Bhautikam, Adi Daivikam and Adhyatmika. All three sources of obstacles that can arise, I seek Lord's intervention and pray for Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. The Shanti is uttered 3 times in order to pray for removal of obstacles from 3 different sources. With that, let us proceed to the first section. Can you recall how many sections did I say is available in the Upanishad? 6. 3 chapters with 2 sections each, giving us 6 sections to study. Of that, let us take up the first section for study. Now, what is the first section? That is Pratama Mundake. The chapter here is called Mundakam. Chapter here is called Mundakam, and the section is called by the name Khandam. Khandam, not Kandam, it is Khandam. So, now we are entering Pratama Mundake, Pratama Khandam, 1, 1. Okay. What is the overall content of this first section for the study? There are two topics that we will be dealing with in the first section. First is the Upanishad gets you an introduction. While all this time, whatever I was talking about as an introduction to you to Vedas, the Upanishads, and more specifically to the Mundakopanishad, the Upanishad is now going to give you an introduction to set the context of this Brahma Vidya studies. So, Pratamam Avatarika. The first topic is Avatarika. Avatarika, in other words, introduction. The second topic that is being dealt is Brahma Vidya Sankshepaha. Brahma Vidya Sankshepaha, meaning the knowledge of Brahman in a concised manner. The Upanishad itself in this first section is going to present the entire knowledge in a very, very capsulated form. This is a typical teaching methodology. Like first, the subject matter is introduced in a capsulated form, and then each of the sections of the capsulated form will be expanded, and while concluding, again a capsule will be presented. Much like the news that we used to see, not today's news programs that we see, because it has become a news program. Earlier it was not a program, it was news. Between programs, we used to have news. Now news itself has become a program. So today's news I am not taking. Maybe the previous generation's news, there will be a quick headlines, then Virivana Cheydigal, மீண்டும் ஒரு முறை தலைப்புச் செய்திகள். Headlines, details, then again summary of the headlines once again. So this is much similar is also a style that is being adopted by Mundakopanishad, and that will be the style of any traditional teacher of Vedanta. Okay. Now let us go to the first topic in the first section. What is that? Avatarika, meaning introduction. Okay. What does this topic do? This topic introduces this very teaching to the student. Also the Guru, the Shishya. This teaching, in this first topic, in the first section, the first topic actually reveals that this teaching is not an ordinary teaching. It flows from Sakshat Bhagavan Narayana or Sadashiva, whichever is comfortable for you. Mentally you can take it, because the very teaching is about the oneness of everything. Okay. So having come to Upanishad, you should not feel offended if I say Shiva, or you should not feel offended if I say Narayana. Okay. Ishvara Bedam should have been already dissolved before coming to Upanishad. Okay. With that note, This teaching, like the traditional classical sloka goes, Narayanam Padmabhuvam, meaning Brahmaji, Narayanam Padmabhuvam, Vashishtam, Shaktim, Tatputra Parasharam, Vyasam, Shukam, Gaudapadam, Govindam. Then, after Govindam, who is there? Sri Shankaracharyam. If you see, they would have added a Sri to Shankaracharya because he is Madhyamam. He is like one lighthouse in the whole parampara. Sri Shankaracharya Asya Shishyam. Who are the Sishyas of Shankaracharya? Sureshwaracharya, Totakacharya, Padmapada and Hastamalaka. And from there on, until my Guru, this parampara has flown. Apana, what does that indicate? Right from the beginning of the Srishti, when the Srishti, we are going to see that in this section. Right from the beginning of the Srishti, when this knowledge was first given by Ishvara to Brahmaji, from there on until my Guru received, and I now receive it from my Guru. Therefore, this very unbroken chain of this entire teaching holds the validity for this knowledge. Any other form, the other thing that the Upanishad is talking about in this section is that any other form of knowledge becomes valid and becomes meaningful only if it culminates into Brahma Vidya. Because Brahma Vidya is that Vidya that is going to give you the permanent peace or permanent joy of the mind. Any other Vidya, whatever material benefits that it bestows to you, if that cannot take you to the permanent joy or permanent peace of mind, it is as good as not earned. Therefore, here Brahma Vidya is given a higher status from the point of view that no matter what knowledge you gain, that knowledge becomes meaningful only if that knowledge and what you do with that knowledge ultimately lands you into Brahma Vidya. That is the second style in which the glory of this knowledge is being presented. That's the third point. Third point is the introduction of Shishya and Guru. Shishya's name in Mundakopanishad is Shaunakaha. Shaunaka is supposed to be a Mahashalaha. Mahashalaha means what? Is a person who runs an university kind of a setup, where all the teachings, Veda Purva teachings and all the Yajna, Yaga, everything that is happening, he is a Mahashalaha. Mahashalaha. And he Vidivat Angirasam Upasanna. He, as per the tradition, traditionally surrenders to the Guru Angirasa. So the Upanishad specifically makes a mention that Mahashalaha Shaunakaha, the great person, goes to the Guru. So you should not call your Guru home for teaching. When it comes to Brahma Vidya, you should go to the Guru. You should not call him through YouTube. Okay? Right. Can you come online, Guruji? Yes, I can come online. But when will you come offline? When you come offline, the teaching is much faster. Okay. So, the very word Upanishad means that Upasannaya Nishchitam Yet Shate. That is, by going close to the Guru and by the Nishchitam, knowledge, conviction, what gets destroyed. That what gets destroyed by knowledge? Ignorance gets destroyed. So, the very word Upanishad means that you have to go to the Guru, gain knowledge and remove ignorance. That is being presented in this thing. Shaunakaha vai Mahashalaha Angirasam Vidivat Upasanna papracha. After going to the Guru, what you should do? You should ask. What you should ask? Give me some water. No, that is not asking. When we say ask, we immediately get what we get into our mind. What can I ask? Something for me. No. Ask for knowledge. What did he ask? That takes us to the second topic of the first section. What did he ask? Kasmin bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati iti. What is that knowing which I would have known everything? In Tamil, yadai arindal anaithum arindadagumo adai enakku sollungal. Even today, the scientists are working under the leadership of Stephen Hawking. They started. It is called TOE, T-O-E, the theory of everything. The theory of everything, what it started is where today is it's in Geneva in the form of that huge scientific Hadron Collider experiment, and still they are finding. That question was asked by Shaunaka to Angirasa, asking what is that thing knowing which I would have known everything. That is, Shaunaka had the knowledge that there is one permeating single substratum which is in the form of everything. Right? Okay. Now Upanishad, Angiras starts his teaching in a very, very concise way in this topic. So when we talk about, so that which is everything is given a name in Shastras, Brahman. When somebody asks you Brahman, what is the meaning of Brahman? Immediately the meaning that you should conceive in your mind is that which is everything is Brahman. Everything. Okay. Now this, when Brahman needs to be defined, there are two ways in which Shastra define the Brahman to a student. Are you all ready to know the theory of everything? Are you all ready to know one thing that permeates everything and that is known, knowing which you need not know anything else? Are you all ready? Let's get to Brahma Vidya. So Brahma Vidya, when Brahman needs to be unfolded, the Shastras take two kinds of definitions. One definition is called Swarupa Lakshanam. It's a direct definition. The other definition is called Tatastha Lakshanam, which is an indirect definition. The Swarupa Lakshanam is more from addressing directly Brahman, like the mantra number 6. Yattadadreshyam agrāhyam agotram avarnam achakshushrotram tadapanipādam nityam vibhum sarvagatam sukshmam tad avyayam yat bhutayonim paripashyanti dhīrāha. This is a direct definition. This is Brahman. Okay. What is Tatastha Lakshanam? Indirect way, where Brahman is not directly described. In Swarupa Lakshanam, in the direct definition, in short, what Brahman means? Brahman means pure attributeless consciousness. Brahman is the pure attributeless consciousness. The mantra that I just chanted before you from the Upanishad, Ettad Adreshyam Agrāhyam, the concise meaning of that mantra, being a direct definition of Brahman, is pure attributeless consciousness. All the three words are important. Pure attributeless consciousness. Moving on to the indirect definition. What does indirect definition mean? Indirect definition is not directly defining something. Who is Rama? And if I said the definition is Dasharatha's son. Who is Dasharatha? Rama's father. That is an indirect definition. Maybe you already know something, and I am trying to define Brahman as a relation or as a connection to what you already know. That is called. We generally know what? We know that this entire creation has come, and Brahman is defined as the creator. Jagatasya Karanam Brahma. Jagat Karanam Brahma. Okay. Tata aksharata sambhavatiha vishvam. That from which everything came. What is Brahman? The indirect definition says that from which everything came. Okay. Now there is an important corollary that we need to understand when it comes to this Jagat Karanam, defining Brahman as the very Karanam for this entire Jagat. When we say Karanam is Brahman, what is Jagat? It is called by a word Karyam. Karanam is the cause, Karyam is the effect. Clay is the cause, pot is the effect. Pot or lota, whatever. Okay. Now, there are some important corollaries that we need to understand from this indirect definition given by the Upanishad. What are those indirect corollary that we need to take? Before that, I want you to visualize the example of gold and ornament. I'll take one of them. This is a gold chain, right? With this example, three important corollaries need to be understood. What is the first corollary? This chain that I can wear on my neck, this is called Karyam, the effect. What is the cause of this chain? Gold. Okay. The first corollary is, what is this? This is a bangle. Bangle is effect or cause? Effect. What is this? Ring. Oh, seems like a wedding ring. Ring. And this ring is a Karyam or Karanam? Karanam. What is the Karanam? Karyam. Okay. Are all awake. Okay. The ring is, what is a ring's Karanam? Gold. What is bangle's Karanam? What is chain's Karanam? Gold. Therefore, the first corollary is Karanam Ekam, Karyam Anekam. ஒன்றான காரணத்திலிருந்து பலதான காரியம் தோன்றுகிறது. The second important corollary, can we change this bangle into a chain? Yes. In fact, this bangle before becoming a bangle was something else. Okay. But does the bangleness continue after becoming a chain? No. So, this bangle can become a chain like this. So, you do whatever process you need to do, and then what you end up making the bangle into a chain. The bangleness was, then bangleness went away, then chainness came. Gold was, gold is, and gold will be. Therefore, the second important corollary is Karanam gold. In this example, gold, Karanam Nityam, ever existent. Karyam Anityam. Simple, just add a aksharam a, then you are right. Then the third important corollary, the most important of all the three corollaries, is this bangle, is it separate from gold? Don't smile for the photo, look at me, okay? The bangleness, can it remain separate of gold? Bangle is bangle because of gold. If you just exclude the gold from this, bangle in itself will not have any footing or any stay. Right? So, the bangleness of this particular ornament that I have is fully dependent on gold. In other words, bangle does not have an existence of its own. Gold, yes, gold exists as gold. Therefore, the third important corollary is karyam. In this example, bangle, karyam mithya, karanam satyam. Put it the other way, karanam satyam, karyam mithya. That which is a karyam can be multiple in number. That which is a karyam is very fleeting and will be there in point of time, will go out of existence in other point of time. And that which is a karyam by in itself does not have a footing and is dependent on a permanent thing to exist. Okay. Now when the Upanishad here defines that the essence, the entire Srishti, the entire Srishti, entire Jagat has come from where? Brahman. Brahman is Jagat Karanam, is the indirect definition that we are looking at. If Brahman is Karanam, therefore, if we apply all this corollary to whatever Brahman and Jagat, between Brahman and Jagat, which is Karanam, which is Karyam? Very good, very bright students. Upanishad defines Brahman as Karanam, Jagat is Karyam. Therefore, applying these three corollaries, Brahmam Ekam, Jagat Anekam. Experientially also you will see. Brahman Nityam, Jagat Anityam. That Jagat includes my relatives, my close blood relationships, near and dear. Okay, coming to that later. Brahman Satyam, Jagat Mithya. Shankara will be very happy looking at so many people uttering Brahman Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Okay. Therefore, of all whatever are the knowledge, other branches and material science of knowledges that we have, they all deal with Jagat or Brahman? Jagat. Anatomy deals with what? Jagat or Brahman? Brahman. Rocket science deals with Jagat or Brahman? Jagat. Brahmana? Jagat. Okay. Physics deals with Jagat or Brahman? Okay. So therefore all the material sciences are Anekam, many, are Anityam and also Mithya. Therefore, this Brahma Vidya is given the status of Para Vidya, the exalted, the great, the high, the higher among the two. If Brahma Vidya is Para Vidya, all other branches of knowledge can be given what name? Apara Vidya. One additional information the Upanishad gives here is Brahman being a Karanam. Brahman is defined as the Karanam of Jagat. What kind of Karanam? Experientially, we all have seen that for anything to come out as a product, as an effect, there has to be a material cause and there has to be a intellectual cause. Okay. Now, if Brahman is Jagat Karanam, is Brahman intelligent cause or material cause? No human being can answer this question. Since the human faculties cannot answer this question, the Shastra becomes the source of knowledge for this. And Shastra answers this through a beautiful mantra which is Yatorna Nabi Srajate Grinnate Cha यथा पृथिव्याम ओषधयः संभवन्ति यथा सतः पुरुषात् केशलोमानि तथाक्षरात् संभवतीह विश्वम. Okay, so Brahman is both nimitta upadana karanam. Since Brahman is one, Brahman is abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. The word abhinna is required to be used because in our experience nimitta karanam and upadana karanam are generally bhinnavat, bhinnam. Brahman is abhinnam. Brahman, one Brahman is both the intellectual cause and also the material cause. So Jagat Karanam Brahma. This concludes our first section. Then the Upanishad moves on to the second section of the first chapter. Prathama Mundake Dvitiya Kandaha. This deals with Apara Vidya. So in the first section, it has introduced the Guru Sishya, it introduced the greatness of this knowledge, and it exactly in a very, very concised manner gives you what you are up to in terms of understanding this knowledge. That Brahma Vidya is Paravidya. So that has been detailed, that has been concisely given to us. Now in the second section, it deals with Apara Vidya. Apara Vidya means materialistic sciences. So is there really a purpose for Apara Vidya? Upanishad says yes. Apara Vidya is the one which actually takes one person to Paravidya. This Apara Vidya can be two forms. One Vaidika, another is Laukika. Upanishad does not deal with Laukika because we are already very, very good at it. Correct? Laukika knowledge. For example, driving a scooter. Is it Vaidika knowledge or Laukika knowledge? And Laukika knowledge. Okay? Right. Vaidika. When we come to Vaidika knowledge, Aparavidya gives the knowledge of karma and the knowledge of upasana. Aparavidya is basically the Veda Purva. That is, the end part of the Upanishads are called Veda Anta, which is predominantly the Upanishadic literature. Apart from that, whatever is there is called Veda Purva, the front portion of the Vedas. And the front portion of the Vedas predominantly deal with Aparavidya, giving all kinds of materialistic sciences in the form of karma and upasana to enable one achieve his limited goals and prepare him for the unlimited goal. What does Vaidika karma and upasana? When we say karma, it is more of whatever are your verbal and physical actions. Doing namaskara, doing puja. These are all Vaidika karma, or chanting shlokas or chanting mantras. This is Vachika karma. These physical and verbal, they come under karma. Whatever you do mentally, japa, upasana, or meditation, or Saguna Ishvara Upasana, all this comes under Upasana. Okay. This karma plus Upasana, when one takes it up, we do have it, we do it, Laukika and Vaidika, karma and Upasana, we all do it. Right? So, when we do it, this karma and Upasana gives two types of results. There are two types of results. One is a spiritual benefit that you get, spiritual result. The other is a material benefit you get. Let us take the material benefit first. What is a material benefit? Material benefit is not, but I am not going to detail that. Material benefit is what you can enjoy here while you are in this body, in this Janma. Then along with the material benefit, in the category of material benefit, it also talks about the benefit that accrues to you and you can enjoy after leaving this body. Ihaloka, Paraloka, Palam. Idu material benefit. What is the spiritual benefit that we get? The spiritual benefit that we get is, first and foremost, is a mind which is very, very conducive for the study of this knowledge. A conducive mind. In other words, it is called Sadhana Chatushtayam. We will take up this topic of Sadhana Chatushtayam as a separate session later. Sadhana Chatushtayam basically Viveka, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutvam. Some qualities that a seeker should be endowed with to be capable of receiving this knowledge is called a conducive mind. In other words, Sadhana Chatushtayam. The other spiritual benefit is what? Guru Praptihi. Guru Praptihi. You get a lot of gurus. No, it is not like that. You get your guru. It will take you to your guru. Then the other spiritual benefit is you will gain an environment that will help you pursue this knowledge. You may get a guru, you may also be relatively ready for the knowledge, but if you are transferred to Nigeria, how can you study? You cannot study. So, all these three are the spiritual benefit. How do I gain a spiritual benefit by doing the same action? It is basically through the type of karma you do when you do Panchamaha Yajna with the right attitude, seeking mental purity. When you do it, it is called Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is what? Doing action with an attitude to be capable of gaining this knowledge, and to be capable to gain this knowledge, invoking Ishvara in every action you do is Karma Yoga. Again, Karma Yoga is a topic for a separate session. Okay, Guru Prapti and Environment Prapti is indicated by a beautiful mantra. What is that? So, when you, through Aparavidya, you gain the disposition of the mind, and the spiritual benefit that you get is Guru Prapti and Deshakala Avakasha Praptihi. Therefore, that is given by which mantra? Parikshya Lokan Karma Chitan Brahmanaha Nirvedamayat. Nirvedamayat tad vijnanartam sa gurumeva bigachet samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Okay, so you gain. Okay, after having, instead of doing it for material benefit, if I do all the karma for spiritual benefit, will I definitely get guru and knowledge? Upanishad says, Upanishad promises you, like we promise people. Upanishad gives a promise through the word Tadetat Satyam. Tadetat Satyam. Meaning, Upanishad, whatever word is there in Upanishad is Satyam. Over and above that, if Upanishad is saying Satyam, there can be no exception to it. You will definitely gain guru, you will definitely gain knowledge, you will definitely be free if you lead a lifestyle of Karma Yoga for the purpose of gaining this knowledge. This is the summary, concise essence of the second section. Now we will move to the third section. Third section is what? Dvitiya Mundake Pratama Kanda 2:1. Okay. Dvitiya Mundaka is the central chapter of Mundakopanishad. When I say central, I say it in two sense. One, positionally, it is in the center. Of the three chapters, second chapter is in the center. That is very obvious. Central chapter means all the main teaching, of the entire Vedanta is contained in this chapter through these two sections. Okay. So Upanishad now, after discussing Aparavidya and also the purpose of Aparavidya and how Aparavidya helps one get to Paravidya, Upanishad again recalls its earlier discussion on Paravidya, which is Jagat Karanam Brahma, and takes Jagat Karanam Brahma forward in this particular topic section. Okay. So it proceeds to Srishti Prakaranam. How Brahman is Jagat Karanam, how from Brahman everything came. The mountains came, the Panchabhutas came, the mountains came, the rivers came, vegetables came, food grains came, a life principle came. All that is it from Brahman. 219. Atah samudraha girayascha sarve asmat syandyante sindavas sarvarupaha atascha sarva voshadayo rasascha yenaisha bhutaistishtate hyantaratma. So this entire section predominantly, the first half talks about how from Brahman this entire Srishti that you see and experience came. Okay. Then the most important part is even the scriptures, what we study as Upanishads and Veda, which become the guiding principle for us to operate in this Srishti. So the Srishti came from Brahman. Also the user manual to operate the Srishti for the Jiva also came from Brahman. Therefore Vedam is Yo Brahmanam Vidatati Purvam. Like the mantra goes, what Brahmaji learnt it from Ishvara. That means it is Ishvara Mukhena Agachati. Okay. So, purpose of Srishti Prakaranam. What is the purpose of Srishti Prakaranam? Why Upanishad has to talk about how this whole thing came? So, that is given in mantra, very, very important mantra 2.1.10. Second section, second chapter, first section, 10th mantra. Purushaye Vedam Vishwam Karma Tapo Brahma Paramrutam Etadyo Veda Nihitam Guhayam So Vidya Granthi Vikaratiha Somya. So, when we listen this word Purusha Ye Vedam, it also comes in Purusha Suktam. Purusha Ye Vedagum Sarvam Yad Bhutam Yad Chabhavyam. So, much in the same meaning, Mundakopanishad also uses the part of that mantra. Purusha Ye Vedam. What does that mean? Purushaha Yeva Idam Sarvam. So it takes it forward. When we say this pot has come from clay, we all agree. We have no doubt. The pot has come from the clay. Upanishad asks you to think further. The pot that has come, this pot is nothing but clay. Whatever is the Karanam Brahma is in the form of Karyam Jagat. Whatever is the Karanam Mrit, Karanam Kaliman, Karanam clay is in the form of Karyam pot. So, even though we experience this Jagat, even though we experience multiplicity, even though we experience various divisions, all this when we say has come from Brahman, it is one Brahman that, instead of saying become, we should say that appears as the Jagat. That appears as the Jagat. So, Eka Karanam Eva. Eka Karanam Eva. Aneka Karya Rupena Bhasate. The one Karanam alone appears as many karyam or effect is a very, very, very important teaching. Like we have seen, one gold is appearing as chain, one gold is appearing as ring, one gold is appearing as a bangle. What are chain, bangle thing when the only substance available in my hand is gold? It means that there is only one substance, and the reason for the appearance of this multiplicity is the nama rupa, the names and forms. Actually, the various names, various forms and various functions of the object makes us think them to be different and separate from each other. What exists is one material gold. One material gold means one vastu Brahman. Okay? Purusha eva. That Purusha eva implies so many things. Only. It is only Brahman that is in the form of Jagat. Okay. Now, we have the experience of Karyam. Now, the next question is, we experience this Karya Jagat. Now, what is the Upanishad expecting us to know? Upanishad has already told you that it is Brahman that is appearing as Karyam Jagat. In my experience, I experience Jagat. I don't experience Brahman, right? So, now the question is, with this Karya Jagat, how do I decipher, how do I discern one Brahman? Then we need to go to our initial corollaries that we made. Karanam Ekam, Karanam Nityam, Karanam Satyam. Okay. While it appears as many, Upanishad is asking us to find out of that which appears as many, what is Ekam, what is Nityam, and what is Satyam. Okay? Karanam, whatever is, so how did the Upanishad define in the first section? Whatever is Ekam, Nityam, Satyam is Karanam Brahma. And what we have to our experience is this experienced Jagat. Now, through this experienced Jagat, how am I supposed to understand Karanam is Brahman? Therefore, for that, the Upanishad says, in the experience that you are having of the Jagat, find out that which is Ekam, that which is Nityam, and that which is Satyam. What is this? Pot is in my hand. Lota is in my hand. Watch is in my hand. Okay. What is that factor that is common in all the three statements I made? Is. In fact, take any number of articles. The one thing that is common is. Therefore, the isness is the Ekam. Now, we need to also find out whether the isness that we are talking about is Nityam or Anityam. Pot is. Okay? Now, if I break it, will it be a pot? There will be no pot. But, will it totally go out of existence or something will remain? Something will be remain. The bits and pieces of the clay will remain. So, now in time, I may say pot is. When it breaks, I will still continue to say bits and pieces of clay is. So, irrespective of the time, irrespective of whatever happens to the pot, the isness is going to continue. So, isness is not just ekam, isness is also nityam. Now, pot is dependent on clay. Clay is dependent on earth. Earth is dependent on water. Water is dependent on Agni. Agni is dependent on this thing. But if you see the isness, Akasha is. Akasha, Vayu, Vayu Agnir, Agnir Apa, Abja Prithvi, Prithvyam Moshadeha, etc., etc. Whatever Srishti is, the isness that we are talking about is Ekam, is Nityam, and that is not dependent on anything. Pot is dependent on clay. Clay is dependent on something else. Though, therefore, if we take the isness aspect, the isness aspect is not dependent, therefore, Satyaha, isness aspect is ever existence, therefore Nityaha, isness aspect is one common thing in everything, one single thread, therefore Ekaha. Therefore, how do I, whatever I see and experience in this Jagat, from this how do I discern or understand Brahman? The isness, the existent principle associated with all the names and forms, that existence principle is Brahman. Shastra, the word that is given is called Sat. Sat Brahma, or the Satta, the being, the Sat, pure existence. Pure existence, that is existence not attributed to any name and form. That pure existence is Brahman. Now I ask you a question, do you experience existence or not? Do you experience existence or not? You very much experience. What you experience, do you know or do not know? You know. Now tell me, do you know Brahman or do you don't know Brahman? Of course, it is already understood. Right? Okay. Now this pure existence, as we saw, is formless. It cannot take any form. It is existence in its pure form cannot be experienced. Do you agree? I experience pot and I have told that it is potness plus existence. Okay? Without the potness or without the clayness, can I experience the existence alone? No. Therefore, existence, pure existence, is experienced only through a name and form. Therefore, whenever I experience a name and form, I can only experience a name and form. Whenever there is an experience, existence is implied, but pure existence in isolation cannot be experienced. This name and form that we are talking about, intellectually being separate from existence, matter and energy principle of the entire scientific investigation comes under name and form and not existence. Now, where to find this existence? Where to find this existence? Upanishad tells you, wherever you see and experience, you will only experience name and form. Okay? If you see this pillar is a name, pillar has a form. If you see a mic stand, you see the name, you see the form. So Upanishad asks you to close the eyes and not drop into deep meditation. Meditation cannot give you knowledge. It's a very, very clear established fact. When you close your eyes and you drop into meditation, what you ate will come out. Mentally, what you ate will come out. Whoever scolded you, whoever spoke very much good words about you, all those things will come out. Knowledge will not come out. Knowledge does not happen. Knowledge You have to make it happen. Okay? Knowledge does not automatically happen. Okay. So what Upanishad says is, withdraw from the senses which experience the world. After withdrawing everything, when I see a name and form, there is an observed, there is an observer. Are you getting the point? It is a very, very important part we are looking at. Whenever we are saying an experience is what? Existence in the form of a name and form. Name, form, existence is what I report as experience. Now when I want to understand or discern the pure existence, what I should do? I should remove the name and form. So if I have to remove the name and form, whatever are the faculties that recognize name and form, those need to be suspended. So when I open my eyes, close my ears, all these things, so my capability to my capability to grasp the name and form, I voluntarily shut down. In other words, the experience of name and form gives rise to an observed and the observer. Now the observer is stopping to observe. He is not observing any external world or anything. So when only the observer remains, what remains? Only the notion of I remains. I am conscious, but I am not conscious of any name and form. This consciousness is the very innate true nature of yourself. This consciousness is your true identity. Okay? Negating the body, negating the mind, negating every other thing, this consciousness is your innate nature. This consciousness is not subjected to the body. This consciousness reflects in the body, but this consciousness is beyond the boundaries of the body. Therefore, this consciousness is ekaha. This consciousness and there is another consciousness. No, only one consciousness is available. So, consciousness ekaha, consciousness nityaha, consciousness satyaha. Earlier we saw Brahman is ekaha, nityaha, satyaha. Now we saw consciousness is also ekaha, nityaha, satyaha. So therefore there are two ekaha, two nityaha, two satyaha. You look at me as an idiot. How can there be two ekaha? When we say ekaha, it is ekaha, correct? Therefore, this sat existence principle, which I recognize as the conscious principle, given the name Chit. The Sat is Chit, Chit is Sat. This is the central teaching of Mundakopanishad. This is the central teaching of any Upanishad. With this, we will conclude the first session of Mundakopanishad Saaram. We will come back for the next session. Om Purnamada Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Monda tea.